Here's a quick recap of what happened at Thursday's council meeting. It's hard to cover everything, and there are a lot of important things that are happening, but here are just a few highlights. Of course, it's always great to see different city employees being recognized for their years of service within our community, and we're so grateful for the way they make our community a better place to live. It's also great to be able to recognize the Veterans Cemetery for their impressive customer satisfaction.
So amazingly, we scored a 99.03 last year, and it went up to 99.11. And these are the folks that are the reason for that.
Now, there's a couple things that I wanted to address happening during the council meeting that I thought would be interesting to you. The first one was a personal comment made by a lady who had a vicious dog attack happen to her. And here's her heartbreaking story.
Buddy and I were attacked by 3 pit bull dogs in our backyard. Buddy received over 8 bites and torn skin. I fought them off with 2 lawn chairs, which did not faze the big male and that had Buddy in his mouth. Somehow God placed a 4-foot iron pipe in my hand, and I started hitting them on their heads. 2 of them kind of backed off, but the one that had Buddy on his in his mouth still remained, and I kept hitting him until he dropped Buddy. I told Buddy to get in the house, and he did. But I was still the dog was coming after me, and I kept hitting on him. And I got to my back door, still hitting him. I got in, I got my gun, came back out. I shot 3 times, missed, but they went behind my shop into the hole that they had made on the fence between us.
Mayor, may I make a couple comments that may provide some understanding of where we're heading? So I called our division manager for animal services yesterday afternoon and asked, where are we on this? Because I had heard that there was a delay. The officer investigating this particular case was out, and they're back today, and there will be a determination made on whether or not the dangerous dog language has been met or not.
So while we're not privy to all the information of the story, it was truly heartbreaking to listen to this poor woman have to fend for her life just being in our backyard with her dog. I hope things work out well and that she feels like she can be safe again in her own home. Moving on to the consent agenda, there were 7 resolutions that were passed, and there are lots of different parts of the operating aspects of the city that we can't go into, but it's always good to look and see what they're actually working on and getting accomplished there. Next, we'll move on to the regular agenda items. There were some ordinances passed and 1 resolution, and the first one we're going to look at is the amendment to the Land Development Code to adopt a new airport zoning ordinance. Now, this is something that doesn't necessarily affect everyone because it's mainly those people who live around the different airport locations, DIAS, or the regional airport. But it's interesting to note that there are decisions that the City Council can make that affect non-citizens of Abilene. It's important to make sure that they are represented well, and I think this conversation shows just how that takes place.
And a lot of people don't understand about we have this extraterritorial jurisdiction which goes out 5 miles past the city limits that impacts property owners out there. And yet those property owners can't vote for y'all that are ones that put the rules on them. And so we got a number of folks involved in this early on in the airport zoning ordinance and crafting it. I think it took us about 17 months to get it done. No one got exactly what they wanted, but we got what we felt like we could live with.
I'll just add to that when I was first elected in 2009, Randall was one of the first people that reached out to me because the city had just passed the first iteration, which was very onerous, and we made changes to it pretty quickly and included language that said any future changes had to include property owners from that area.
I do want to comment that at no time was there any hint of
a lack of support for Dyess Air Force Base.
Now, this ordinance is nothing out of the ordinary, but I definitely wanted to highlight that Jessica Jacobs is actually trying to expand her business that provides maternal wellness for local residents here in Abilene. And I think that's an awesome project, and I'm excited to see what unfolds as she develops this business for more members of the community.
Good morning, I'm Jessica Jacob. The plan for the property is a maternal wellness center. I'm a therapist, and so I'm looking to build a center that will help with grief, loss, miscarriage, women and families who are experiencing that, and then bring in other professionals who do the same thing and just create like a holistic maternal wellness center.
So this last item, I just wanted to highlight because I was really excited to see what this looked like in the actual meeting. I wasn't sure what was going on because it looks like they actually removed the appointment of board members from the community from the consent agenda item and placed it as a regular item. So I was excited to hear about Dr. Paige Lemasters being appointed to the Abilene-Taylor Public Health District Board, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. Let's listen in.
We will now move to item 18, which is the appointment or reappointment to various boards and commissions. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak either for or against this item? Please come forward and give your name for the record. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Does council have any questions? If not, I'll accept a motion and a second.
Our screens aren't.
Don't move.
They're powering up.
You have to touch them. They'll wake up.
Was there an intention to flash the, might not be the right word, to display the names on the screen?
Okay.
Okay.
That is the intent in the future.
We'll work on that.
Okay, so we had a second and a motion?
I second it.
Okay,
Okay.
who's the motion?
I did the motion.
That's why it has
Councilman
yes.
Price, second by Councilman Reagan.
Yes.
Any further discussion? We're ready to vote.
All yeses, motion carries.